Hey there. Let's talk about something called pitch. Pitch has to do with sound, and it has to specifically do with how high something sounds or how low something sounds. So what we're going to do is listen to each of these three drums, and as I play them, I want you to listen to how they each sound different. First, I'm going to start with the small drum. Now I'm going to play the medium drum. Now I'm going to play the big drum. Again, I'll play each one after the other, quickly this time. Now, before I describe the difference between those three drums, teachers, I want you to pause the video so you can discuss with your class what your students noticed about the difference between each of the three drums. Okay, now that you're back, what you probably and hopefully noticed is that the tiny drum is making a much higher sound, while the big drum is making a much lower sound. Listen to them side by side compared to one another. Now, this cool idea of pitch works across all instruments. And basically the idea is that the smaller the instrument is, the more likely it is that it's going to be making a very high-pitched sound, while the bigger an instrument is, the more likely it is to be making a very low sound. Now, this works with every single instrument, and it doesn't just have to do with how big it is, but it can even do with how long something is. Let me show you. So here I have something that's kind of similar to a recorder, okay? The first time I play it, I want you to listen to what it sounds like. Now, listen to what it sounds like when I put my fingers on all of the holes. If you're wondering why they sound different, it's because of pitch. Now, as you can see, this runs the length right here, and wind that I'm blowing is traveling through the entire instrument. Now, when I don't have any fingers and I blow, it has a high pitch. The reason is because the distance from here to the first hole where the air is leaking out is very short. But when I put all my fingers down, I'm blocking the air from getting in right there. With all my fingers down, the air can't escape here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. The air has to go all the way from here, all the way down to here. And when that happens, it's creating a much longer space for the air to travel, which means that it's making a lower pitch. Small drum, high pitch. Big drum, low pitch. Short distance, high pitch. Long distance, low pitch. It works the same way on stringed instruments like guitars. Here we have something called an auto harp. Notice that the strings over here are much longer than the string over here. And because of that, listen to the difference in how they sound. Now listen to this one up here. Since this string is bigger, it's making a lower pitch. And since this string is smaller or shorter, it's making a higher pitch. Again, this works always in instruments, and it works in household things or things you can find in your classroom. Look here at these two Tupperware containers. Now, this Tupperware container is pretty big, and this Tupperware container is pretty small. So before I even hit them with the drumstick, I want you to pause the video and talk about what sounds you think are going to come from me hitting each of these Tupperware cases. So go ahead and pause the video. Okay, now that you're back, I'm going to play them and let's see if you were right. If you guessed that this was going to make a low sound because it was big, and this was going to make a high sound because it was small, you were absolutely right. That is how it will always work with everything. So anytime you're tapping your desk, or you're tapping something, or you're hitting something, or you're whistling or singing, just know that when all those things are happening, the pitch is determined by how big, small, long, or short the object is you're playing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.